After the whistle starts in Tyrone, where this happened. Quarterback Ashton Walk unleashes a 39-yard bomb downfield to Draven Crowell, going up in double coverage, making that catch and taking it into the end zone. Let's look at that one more time. Crowell going airborne, mossing not one but two defenders. But would that be enough for Tyrone to win the backyard brawl? I'm Carlos Garcia. We'll have more on that game and others from tonight's Friday Night Lights around District 6.
And I'm McKenna Wall. Things are getting chilly in State College with tomorrow's forecast expected to bring whiteout conditions. We'll rewind to last year's Penn State whiteout and preview tomorrow's game against the Iowa Hawkeyes. All that and more coming up on After the Whistle. You got this.
Hi, I'm Bronwyn Leiber. Our game of the week is the Battle of the Cambrias. The Panthers traveled to Red Devil territory to see who will come out victorious. It was a chippy matchup all the way through as the Panthers and the Red Devils fight for the goalpost trophy. Starting off in the first quarter, Grady Snyder runs it in for a 1-yard score. Central Cambria scores first. 4 minutes to go in the fourth, Brady Jones finds Gavin Harold over the middle for a touchdown as the student section goes absolutely wild. Start of the second, it's the Jones and Harold show for another touchdown connection. These two were on another planet tonight. Fourth and goal, Central Cambria needs something. Hunter Pittsinger is intercepted by Harold in the end zone. On the following drive, Thomas Plunkett bursts through the middle for a rushing touchdown to follow. Panthers took home the covered gold post trophy this year for the 4th straight year in a row, beating the Red Devils 38-6. Penn Cambria moves to 4-1 and will take on Westmont Hilltop at home next week. For Central Cambria, the drop to 3-2 and travel to Chestnut Ridge next week. 4 years in a row, along with the quarterback only being a sophomore, I'd say Penn Cambria's title is looking pretty bright. Reporting from the studio, I'm Bronwyn Leiber. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Bronwyn. Let's travel to Tyrone, where the Golden Eagles play host to the Blue Devils. The Tyrone Golden Eagles, the home team, coming out, but it's the opposing Blue Devils coming out. We're going to pick up here in the first quarter. It's quarterback Ashton Walk taking it, evading not one, but two defenders. And he's going to look like Lamar Jackson makes that defender join the parachute club going up in the air, and he'll dive in for 7 points. Tyrone taking the lead, and on their next drive, it's the quarterback zipping one in there for another touchdown. Tyrone going up 14-0 here. The Golden Eagles completely dominant in this one. They'll continue on one more time. Quarterback Walk is going to hit over the middle. Andrew Weaver for a 50-yard catch and run. Tyrone going up 20-0 there, and they'll continue to dominate all night long, adding on 2 more scores and holding on to win the backyard brawl 34-0. Tyrone improves to 2-3 on the year and heads to Bishop Guilfoyle next week. Meanwhile, Bellwood Antis falls to 0-5 and travels to Phillipsburg Osceola.
The 3-1 Bishop Guilfoyle traveled to face the 4-0 Central Dragons tonight. The Dragons and Marauders getting set, shaking hands. Will pick it up with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Rushing touchdown by Hunter Smith puts Central up 7-0. Then halfway through the second quarter, we'll see a deep ball. Hamilton getting that interception. That's his second one of the night right there, making a big impact of this game, but it doesn't stop there. The ball is on the 50, 3 minutes left in the first half. Gates, look at him go. He's gonna lay it out, caught on the 30. BG now in the red zone. Gates is having a night. First BG drive of the third quarter, Braden Beach makes a diving pick in the end zone. What a contested matchup tonight. Central took the win 10-7 in overtime with a field goal, and Central maintains their perfect 5-0. Next week, they'll visit the Huntington Bearcats, and BG falls to 3-2 and will stay home to face the Tyrone Golden Eagles. Now let's take a look at some other teams around District 6. Fort Hill defeated Hollidaysburg 38-21, and the Altoona Mountain Lions fell to Central Dauphin East 28-7.
Penns Valley got a close win over Bellefonte 20-19, and Clearfield beat Huntington 44-20.
State College took the road victory 31-13 over Central Dauphin, and Mifflin County beat Palmyra 20-10.
Richland defeated Forest Hills 44-14, and Somerset dominated Bishop McCourt 34-0. The Mountaineers of Phillipsburg Osceola traveled to Bald Eagle area to face the Eagles. We'll see the Mounties coming onto the field in the crispy white unis, and the home team, Bald Eagle, coming out. We'll pick up 2 minutes in the first quarter here. Carson Nagel, the quarterback, dumps it off to Cameron Watkins. A little trickery here, throws it. A double pass to Kahale Burns. Bald Eagle goes up 7-0. Just under 3.5 in the first quarter. Quarterback Nagel calling his own name, making a man look silly. Runs it in for a 14-0 lead. In the second quarter now, Nagel dominating, dicing up the defense. Kahale Burns making a man fall and jumps, takes a contact. Bald Eagle going up 21-0, and they don't take the foot off the brakes. Nagel to Cameron Dubs, who runs it in. 28-0 now. Bald Eagle would go on to win 42-20. Bald Eagle improves to 5-0 on the year, and they'll take on Bellefonte next week. Meanwhile, PO drops to 1-4, and they'll face Bellwood-Antis next Friday.
West Branch hosted the Juniata Valley Hornets tonight in the Warriors' homecoming game. The bleacher creature was hyping up the student section in front of that beautiful sunset. West Branch would start off very strong on the first play from scrimmage. Its quarterback, Tyler Biggins, taking himself for a 42-yard gain. Look at him run, taking the tackle like a champ. After a West Branch field goal, Biggins would find Frank Leskavansky from 9 yards out for the score. The Warriors extend their lead to 11-0 after a made 2-point conversion. Look at those festive homecoming balloons on the bleachers. Everyone's excited tonight. Early in the second quarter, it would be running back Azadio Vargas on the pitch from Biggins to take it in for 6 to extend the Warriors' lead with a nice homecoming-themed celebration. The extra point was no good, but the crown is really what matters here. Later on in the second, Biggins would notch a rushing touchdown of his own, flipping over Juniata Valley defenders, bringing the score to 31-0 after another missed extra point. West Branch would add another touchdown in the second half, taking their first win of the season, 38-0. West Branch will travel to Kerwinsville next week, while the 4-1 Juniata Valley's Hornets go back home to take on Moshannon Valley.
The District 4 community is in mourning after the tragic death of one of its players. I was there to see how one team fights back and continues its season. On Friday nights, the Jersey Shore football team plays for the borough and the fans. But this week, they played for something much more. Max Engel, a senior player on the team, died Friday after a brain injury. With 11 seconds left in a game against Sellingsgrove, Engel suddenly collapsed. Trainers and EMTs worked on him for the next 10 minutes before rushing him to the hospital. His fight ended a week later, and the school postponed their next game.
Hasn't been easy, and we're just so thankful to all the people that's reached out to us in this difficult situation.
Fans showed up in force for the rescheduled game, creating a sea of orange and black, all sporting Max's number 4. Off the field, the number was in the stands, on stickers, and posters. On the field, his number was painted in both end zones, and even the 4-yard line was painted orange. And get this, in the first quarter, the Bulldogs had 4 interceptions. The first one returned for a touchdown. That score by Peyton Samar happened just 4 days after losing his best friend and neighbor.
Well, it was kind of a blessing, and I thanked Max over there on the 4 after because it felt like he threw it right to me. Put that ball right there in my hands.
Coming into this game with emotions high, the Bulldogs started out hot and did it all for Max. With a 61-12 win, the Bulldogs honored Max's commanding play on the field, but it was his off-field character that made an impression on everyone. A line in his obituary said, "Max was a ray of light for his family and valued togetherness and love. He was a loving son and brother, proud uncle, and loyal friend."
He cared about everybody. He wanted to be there for everybody. He was just overall one of the best people I've ever known.
Obviously a very emotional week for the Bulldogs and their fans. All of us here at After the Whistle send our thoughts and prayers to the Engel family.
We'll be back from the break.
Hello and welcome back to After the Whistle, brought to you by Com Radio, Center County Report, and Penn State's chapter of Awesome.
There's a promising update on Karnes City senior quarterback Mason Martin.
The team released a statement from the family saying Martin has improved substantially, and earlier this week he was able to breathe on his own for 5 hours. The post goes on to say that doctors are cautiously optimistic, believing a full recovery is possible. We send our best wishes to him and his family.
That is certainly good news, Carlos. Some other good news for Penn State fans. The greatest show in college sports is returning to Happy Valley tomorrow, the Whiteout. We'll rewind now to last year's Whiteout game against Minnesota.
The greatest show in college sports and a game Penn Staters wait all year for, the Whiteout. Penn State took care of Minnesota in front of 109,000 plus fans, defeating the Golden Gophers 45-17. While being booed in pregame introductions and calls for true freshman quarterback Drew Aller to get the start, sixth-year quarterback Sean Clifford had his most complete game all season, going 23 for 31 for 295 yards and 4 touchdowns.
As you guys know, I'm proud of Sean. And he's a battler, and he's resilient, and he's tough, and he played really well.
Nick Singleton also had a big Whiteout debut, rushing for 79 yards, averaging 6.1 yards per carry, and rushing for 2 scores.
Obviously, Nick was able to break one there at the end, so we just got to keep chipping away at it.
4 different Nittany Lions had receiving touchdowns: Theo Johnson, Parker Washington, Mitchell Tinsley, and Tyler Warren. Manny Diaz's Penn State defense was exceptional. Minnesota only had 9 completions and averaged 3.6 yards per carry. Curtis Jacobs added 14 tackles.
Now it's time to look forward, as the Nittany Lions will host their 15th annual full stadium Whiteout tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Destiny Sanchez tells us what to expect.
For their first road game of the season, Penn State defeated the Fighting Illini on Saturday in Champaign 30-13. Now, the Nittany Lions have another Big Ten opponent, the Iowa Hawkeyes, in the infamous Whiteout game this Saturday. Iowa is 3-0 on the season and is coming off a dominant 41-10 win over Western Michigan. In Champaign, Penn State defeated Illinois 30-13 in Memorial Stadium. With both teams coming into Saturday with 3-0 records, it's ringing bells from their last meeting 2 seasons ago. Last time Penn State saw Iowa was in Iowa City back in 2021, where the Hawkeyes rallied back from a 14-point deficit, winning the game 23-20. The Nittany Lions got off to a quick start in the game, jumping out to a 17-3 lead in the first half. But the Iowa defense would hold Penn State to just 3 second-half points, as the Hawkeyes came from behind for the victory. Penn State is getting ready to hold their 15th full stadium Whiteout on Saturday in Beaver Stadium. The annual Whiteout game has become one of the signature traditions in all of college football, with 110,000 screaming fans all dressed in white.
All of these nationally televised games, but also obviously specifically the Whiteout, it's more than just athletics. It's an opportunity to showcase the entire university as a whole.
With a chance of rain on Saturday, Coach Franklin isn't worried about the potential of taking on the elements.
We've had rain in the forecast earlier this year. That's why whenever it rains, we take it as an opportunity, as long as there's not thunder and lightning, to practice in it. So I think that by doing that, I think your guys build confidence.
Thanks, Destiny. Fans can catch all the action live on Com Radio with After the Whistle's very own Justin Chevalella and John Drager on the headset, with their pregame show starting at 6:30 p.m.
From Penn State back to District 6, where 2 schools celebrated homecoming tonight, Bald Eagle and West Branch. Bald Eagle had their celebration at the beginning of the game. The court got dressed to their finest and was honored by a walking procession. In front of their schoolmates, it was Charity Geyser announced as the queen and given sash and flowers there. What a beautiful dress. West Branch was celebrated at halftime by driving on the field in a car procession. For the festivities, West Branch High School Stadium was covered in decorations and signs. The homecoming court was all smiles as the king and queen were ultimately crowned under the lights. Well, McKenna, we didn't have homecoming at my high school, but it's nice to see these other schools get their flowers.
Absolutely. Well, that's all for us on Week 5. Join us next week as we continue to talk about all things District 6. I'm McKenna Wall.
And I'm Carlos Garcia. Thank you for catching up with us on high school football action right here on After the Whistle.